What's up, nerds? Today we're going to review the Radiolink RC4GS. By the end of this video, you should be able to decide for yourself if this radio is a good value or if it's a Chinese piece of crap. Let's figure it out. So I will provide links to every product in this video in the description. Please stick around to the end of the video so you can get the full story. I will never sugarcoat. All right, so here we have the Radiolink RC4GS. I've been using this radio for about 3 months now. I use it for all my race cars. At the moment, I haven't hooked it up to any of my bashers, but every single track car is hooked up to this radio. I will be completely Amish with you. I don't know every single setting and what it does. There's so many things in this radio that I cannot tell you what every single thing does. So the first category is going to be fit and finish. So how does it feel? Is it a quality product? I will say that this is not the nicest radio I have used. So let's say compare it to a Spectrum DX5 or any of the Futabas or whatever. It does not feel like a high-end quality radio. It has kind of a ready-to-run feel to it. So just the way the plastic is, the steering feel is actually pretty good. This foam wheel is good. The weight is pretty good on it, but it has a cheap plastic feel to it. There's a couple things that I really don't like about this radio. And one of them is fixable. The other one is not. So first, let's start with the fixable issue. The battery situation. So in stock form, this comes with an attachment inside of it for 6 AA batteries. And what happens is this thing was like a bad design. It's weak or something. I don't know. Maybe it was an afterthought. Hey, who wrote on there? What's going on? So what would happen is all the AA batteries would start basically falling out. So you go to use your radio and all of a sudden it shut itself off and you have no batteries. So you have to go underneath and smack it and pop all the batteries back in. And then normally it would turn back on. Well, that one time I did it at the start of the race, it would not turn back on. So I'm sitting there messing with it for basically an entire lap. I didn't get it working again until the first guy came around. So I lost an entire lap because I was like the second out of the gate or something. That's a big issue. Now, it is fixable. So the way around that is rechargeable battery. So after you put a rechargeable battery in there, it gets rid of that issue. And I have loved it ever since. I was ready to get rid of it. I was ready to throw it away after it basically cost me a lap in a race. And I constantly was having issues with it. I would say at least 4 or 5 times I had where I went to go drive it and the batteries had fallen out and it no longer worked. But get a rechargeable battery, and this is an Elksjar 2800 milliamp hour. This is designed for this. Comes in a pack of 2 for $15 each. So for basically $30, you get 2 batteries, so you have a backup battery. This is the way to go. And that cures that problem of the battery falling out. It's 100 times better. All right, now for the second issue. And this one is not fixable as far as I know. And that's this antenna. I mean, how much extra range do you really get from this little antenna? It's annoying. I wish they would have just built this thing without an antenna. So I actually had to return my first radio because this antenna, so look at this antenna, it swivels back and forth. and it had snapped, it broke, and just spins in circles. So there's some sort of plastic in here that keeps it from going past this direction. And it snapped and just spins in circles. And luckily, since I bought it from Amazon, so my very first radio, I returned it because of that. And they took it back, no problem. And this is my second one. So I have not had it break since I got another one. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. I wish they would have left that thing off and done it no antenna, or maybe just a little nub, like something that high, or made it solid and durable. But so far, you just got to be careful with this. Those are the two gripes that I have, other than the fact that the orange wheel's kind of ugly. I mean, it's all right. It doesn't bother me that much. It actually looks all right. And then another small gripe is I think this section right here is a little bit too small. So you put your hand in here and your finger's kind of too close to the trigger. So I prefer it a little bit bigger in this area to where when you grip it, it doesn't feel so small. But if you're a kid or a lady or something, that probably won't bother you. I don't have huge hands for a guy, probably average size. And it bothers me a little bit. Like I like the feel of some other radios better that have a slightly larger grip. I don't know if you could see the grip on this. It's kind of got a thin grip. But that's all like a personal preference thing. Everything else is good. As far as the feel, I've used some higher end radios, and 1,000% they feel a lot better when you just put them in your hand. The feel of them in your hand, the feel of the wheel. Say something like a Spectrum DX5. I mean, there's no comparison for the fit and finish of that one versus this one. But, you gotta win some, you lose some. If you're gonna pay a quarter of the price, you're gonna skimp on some stuff. And I believe that is where they skimped, was the overall feel and fit and finish of this. They could have fixed this battery thing by either putting some braces in there or possibly redesigning the cover, but they didn't. And I've mentioned this stuff to their company, and hopefully version 4, they change that. But for now, that's what you get. For an overall score, fit and finish, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Could be better, could be worse. All right, so now let's go through the function category. Functionality, I'm going to say this radio is fairly easy to navigate. Actually, it is very easy to navigate. It's very easy to use. To get to the menu, you just hold these two buttons down, and then all your menu items pop up. Let's see if you can see it. You could see that. Language, model, EPA, which is endpoint adjustment. Yeah, steering, exponential. So to go through these, go down, then just hit enter. So, and this is where you choose your model. So, and then you can rename them in a different section. But these are all my models I have. Buggy / 4x4 / Stadium, Hyper TT, JRXT. And all you have to do to pick the model is click through and hit the enter, and then just back out. So now you're back out to the main function of the radio to use it. Yeah, so basically you just hold these two down, exit, and enter at the same time. And then go down here and there's your EPA endpoint adjustment. On this particular model, I have the steering set at 65% left, 65% right. And everything is adjustable in 1% increments. So you can do steering endpoints, throttle endpoints, I mean, basically everything. This one's steering exponential. I love this setting with my MS. I have occasionally some twitching issues when I turn the wheel, and this has been basically a game changer for me. So I have the steering exponential set at 20%. And to change that, say you just click the enter button, go up, and that's 1% increments. So see it goes at 21%. Then I'll put it back down at 20. I like 20 so far. I haven't changed it too much more than that. Then you have steering speed, throttle exponential, throttle speed, ABS, which is like you can do like a pulse brake, like where you can do like an anti-lock brake type thing, where it does the brake on and off and on and off, so you don't overuse the brake. Got all kinds of features. Excel, it's got idle up. I think that's for like a nitro sub trim. And then here's how you can reverse. So let's say you your servo needs to go in reverse, or your speed control needs to go in reverse. You can do throttle reverse, steering reverse. There's your dual rate. So see, all my dual rates are at 100. Well, let's say you wanted to let's say you had a motor that was just too powerful and you wanted to drop it down to 70%. You could do that with your dual rate. If you want to change the name of a vehicle that you have in here, go into the menu by holding the enter and the exit button. Come down to model. Now you pick the model you're going to rename. So let's say model 7. Click model 7. Back out. Then it's best to go backwards this direction to number 18 is the name right there. Click enter. And then there you can see there's the name right there, model 7. So to change it, you scroll through with either the plus or minus button. Scroll through to the letter that you want to change it to, the letter or number or symbol. So let's say we want to name this one YouTube. Go to the Y, hit enter. Now the next one is already on an O, and then you go to the next one after that. Scroll down to U, then over to a T, then a U, and finally, the B. And that's not finally. And then we come over to the E. And there we go. And then we have YouTube Model 7. And then when you come back here, it's got your name right there, YouTube. And then you can set up each car individually with all of its own settings. That's about it for this. I don't know about you, but this thing has way more settings than I will ever use. Overall, the functionality is actually really great. I think it's a good radio, functionality wise. There's a couple gripes I have with functionality. So this on-off button, I wish they made it like a little bit bigger. So a lot of times it's hard to reach and hard to get, hard to grab it. So I have to use like a nail to turn that thing on. And sometimes I miss it. Sometimes it's just, that's not the easiest. That's a little thing, but it's still a thing. They could have made the way to turn this on and off just a little bit easier. Maybe a bigger nub on that thing that's easier to grab a hold of. And then the other issue, so right now, you could see this pretty good, but when it's really sunny outside, sometimes the display is not easy to see. I have to like spit on the screen and wipe it off and kind of block it off with shade to be able to see it. It could be a little bit hard to see during the day. Those are minor issues. Every product's going to have some pros and cons. So those are just some of the cons, some minor cons. But overall, functionality is really great for this radio. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 for functionality. It's very, very good. The next category is going to be durability. And for durability, there's just been that issue with the antenna. which I think is not good, and that should not have happened, and hopefully it doesn't happen again. Other than that, it's been pretty decent. This radio gets transported in a Radiolink bag, which I think is by the way, this bag I think is a really good deal if you buy one of these. They're like 25 bucks. And what I did was these are set up for like the RC8, I think. But so you have to kind of cut the foam a little bit. So I modified it. I cut the foam there, and I think I cut it down here or something. I can't remember exactly, but this radio fits right in there now. That works really good. But so my point is, it doesn't get beat up too much. So far, durability, besides the antenna, has been all right. Nothing else has really had an issue, besides that battery thing, which, in my opinion, it's inexcusable. Durability, I'm going to rate it a 3 out of... Whoop, I almost knocked it over. Durability, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. All right, so the next, last, and final category is value. Is it worth it to buy this? Is it a good value? This radio was $65. It comes with one receiver. Receivers are $15 each. So I have at least 10 receivers right now. So we're talking 150 bucks. I have this radio, and I bought another one for my girlfriend. And so we're looking at probably with 2 radios and 10 receivers, right around $300. In my opinion, that's a smoking deal. You're not going to get anything really other than maybe a fly sky. You're not going to get anything really that's near that in the functionality category. Value-wise, I'm going to say this is a 5 out of 5. It's a really good value. For 65 bucks plus $15 for each receiver, it's definitely a great value. If you can live with a couple, fit and finish issues and maybe a little bit of the durability issues, it's a really good radio. But, you have to decide what you want to spend your money on. When I bought these, I really wanted to get something like a DX5 or a Futaba or something. And, the radio itself, $250 plus, receivers, 30 bucks each. By the time you're done with 2 radios and 10 receivers, you're over $1,000. So at just right around 300 bucks, this is the way I had to go. And I think it's a good deal. 5 out of 5 for value. Now, in conclusion, would I buy this again? Would I do it again? The answer is most definitely yes. I do think it's a good value. I think it's a great radio for what it is. If you can live with some of the durability issues or the fit and finish issues, then it's a fine radio. If you're in the same situation as me where you need to buy several of them, it might be the way to go. Let's say I was a single guy and I just had to buy stuff for myself. I'd probably get top of the line radio and all that stuff because, why not? At the end of the day, you got to think about how far you could stretch your money, on your hobbies, because the hobbies are not cheap. Would I do it again? Yes, definitely. Tell you what, though, I probably would buy one of these and then buy one of the fly skies that are similar and see which one I like better. And then I would probably return the other one and be good from there. As of right now, I'm committed to these. I have both of them. They're past the return policy, so I'm committed to them. And I have like 10 receivers now, so this is it. I'm all in on these now. I'm committed to them. Do I recommend buying it? Yes and no. So in my opinion, the battery thing, if you're not planning to use a rechargeable battery, if you're just going to use the AA's, the 6 AA's and do that, to be honest with you, I wouldn't buy this radio. I just think that's a poor design and they could have done something better. They could have made this battery it's almost like they said, oops, like they designed it for this And then afterwards, they kind of decided, oh, we need to put in a AA battery cell tray in this thing. So would I buy this? Do I recommend it? Yes and no. If you are going to use rechargeables and pick up a rechargeable, yeah, I'd say it's goodbye. If you're going to use AA's, I say no, don't get it. Try to find something else that doesn't have that issue, because it is a big issue. And it's not fun to be on the track, or let's say you're a basher and your radio dies when you're doing 60 miles an hour or whatever. That's not a good thing. I've been keeping this battery in here as a backup. Now, of course, right now, my girlfriend's watching this with me, and she's giving me the stink eye and saying, why haven't you given me a battery yet? And yeah, I'm sorry. Well, you haven't been out to the races lately, so I need to have a backup here. So it looks like I'll be buying another set of these batteries after this myself, so I can put one in hers. She's had the same issue where she'll be like, oh no, my batteries are dead. And I said, no, they're probably popped out the bottom. And then she'll spank the bottom of it and it'll start working again. In case you decide this radio is for you, I'll have a link in the description for the radio. I'll have a link in the description for the rechargeable batteries and also for this Radiolink case. If you decide to do that, I recommend carrying in a case if you're going to carry it around. Sure, I think it's saved a lot of destruction in this thing. Hopefully I helped. Hopefully this review is informative. If you like my review style, let me know in the comments anything else you'd like to see reviewed. Thanks for watching. See you next time.